Module 1.5, Working the Stack, APIs, Identity, Deployment, and Data Residency for engineers who are embedded somewhere they didn't build. By the end, you'll be able to integrate with customer systems using APIs and webhooks safely. Select the right deployment topology based on the customer's actual risk and compliance posture. Apply least privilege identity practices in an unfamiliar environment. This one saves careers. Surface data residency constraints during discovery, not the week before go live. Now let's talk about integration patterns. 3 patterns, 3 very different jobs. REST, request response. Use it when you need data right now and can wait for the reply. Fetching a customer record to drop into a prompt, for example. Watch out. Polling gets expensive fast at high frequency. Webhook, event-driven. Use it when you want to react the moment something just happened. Triggering an agent the instant a new support ticket lands. Watch out. It needs a publicly reachable endpoint, and debugging gets genuinely harder. Batch or queue. Use it when volume is high and latency tolerance is generous. Processing 10,000 documents overnight, say. Watch out. Results aren't real-time, and monitoring gets trickier. Pick the pattern that matches the shape of the actual need, not the one you're most comfortable writing. 3 questions to answer before you write a single line of integration code. And skipping these is how engagements end badly. Authentication. How does your service actually prove who it is to the customer's systems? Use service accounts, never personal credentials. Use OAuth 2.0 client credentials for machine-to-machine flows. And never ever hardcode credentials into code or config files. That's not a style preference. That's a real incident waiting to happen. Authorization. What's the absolute minimum permission this integration actually needs to function? Request read-only unless write access is genuinely essential. Scope every OAuth token to the narrowest permission available. Document every single permission you request and why. Secrets management. How are credentials stored and rotated? Environment variables or a proper secrets manager. Never source code. Rotate on a defined cadence. And revoke access immediately the moment an engagement ends, not eventually. 3 deployment topologies, and the golden rule underneath all of them. Public SaaS. Fastest to deploy. The provider controls infrastructure and data handling. Contractual protections required. Best fit. Low sensitivity data, where speed genuinely matters most. VPC or private tenant. Your data stays inside a dedicated cloud environment, higher cost than shared SaaS, but still fundamentally cloud dependent. Best fit. Medium sensitivity data, with some tolerance for cloud. On-premise or air-gapped. Full data control, zero egress risk, but the highest infrastructure cost, slower model updates, and the customer's own team has to maintain it. Best fit. High sensitivity, regulated, or sovereign data. And here's the golden rule, worth repeating out loud. Let the customer's risk and compliance posture make this choice for you. Ask about it early in discovery. Never ever assume cloud is acceptable just because it's the default. Regarding data residency, 4 questions to ask in week 1 before you write a line of integration code. Does this organization operate under PDPA, GDPR, or sector-specific regulation, finance, health, anything like that? Is there a policy governing where data can physically be processed or stored? Does security or legal need to formally approve any third-party data processor you're about to introduce? And are any of the data fields you'll actually be using classified as personal or sensitive? Here's the cost of getting this wrong. Discovering a data residency blocker mid-pilot typically costs 2 to 4 weeks of rework, and it resets every ounce of stakeholder confidence you'd built up. Catching the same issue in week 1 costs you nothing at all. Same question, wildly different price tag, depending entirely on when you ask it. Before any integration goes anywhere near a live customer environment, every single item on this list needs to be genuinely true, not just assumed. Authentication confirmed. Service account created, credentials stored securely, scope fully documented. Rate limits and quotas understood. Know the ceiling and build retry logic with exponential backoff from day one, not as an afterthought. Error handling defined. Every API call has a named failure mode and a defined fallback behavior. Logging in place. Every single call logged with timestamp, endpoint, response code, and latency. And rollback plan agreed. A clear, tested procedure to disable the integration without taking down the customer's live environment in the process. Now for a hands-on lab. 1. Set up the service account. Create a minimal scope account in the lab environment and document every permission you request and exactly why you need it. 2. Make a safe first call. Hit the REST endpoint provided, handle the response properly, and add a catch block that logs both the error code and the body. 3. Add retry logic. Implement exponential backoff for 429 rate limit responses and 5xx server errors. 4. Complete the checklist. Work through the Integration Readiness Checklist from the previous slide, and only tick a box when you can actually demonstrate it working, not just describe it. Deliverable. A working integration plus a fully and honestly ticked checklist on workbook page 28.